Good evening, guys. It's a 6:30 p.m. Today is May 23rd, 2022, and today is a Monday. So let me start with the pre-market notes. Okay. So going into the day, so I didn't trade it after 10:30. Okay, as usual. So, but before that, so here is the note. So ES holding it above 39.42 or 62 or Globex low. Buyers may try to take it higher. See, so and you can see it here also. Overnight, it made a new high. Compared to Friday, and it was holding above consistently above Friday's close. Right. Here, the remark from Friday was sellers have to hold below Friday's closing or high. But they failed to do so. Okay, so coming into today, we know at least they failed here. Okay, and then this was the statement that if it's holding at least above Globex low or 42 or 62 of the open, buyers are there. So ideally, I want to see the price staying below all these levels for sellers. So that means if price is above it, any of this level, we have to assume buyers are there, right? So today we are going to be neutral. See, so we are not like heavily short-sided with heavily short-sided, right, or short-sighted. We are open for both. We may favor both sides. See that we can look for longs of the open and then later on the shorts, right? Later on shorts. Overall sellers are still active below 43, 44 in general. So that means mid-term perspective they are active. So during intraday you will see the responses from there, right? But at least for day trading we are open for both sides. See, so that's the key. And I'm specifically I use the word longs of the open, right? So I'm even ready to go long of the open if I see something. That means I'm seeing some buyers coming into the market. Okay, and in Discord also in the morning I repeated the same thing, right? That buyers are there in the morning throughout the Discord till 10:30. We talked about buyers, right? And also sellers, and we also evaluated multiple scenarios, right? We also look for couple of few trades at certain levels, right? What can be done at that level, right? Holding it above for NQ above 11,835, 866 or this, buyers may try to take it higher, right? So NQ basically ended up between these two levels pretty much entire day, right? So we can basically do longs and short both actually in this area, right? And actually I did the long at 866 and I bailed out at around 12,040 or so. So I held it throughout the day wherever. So if you remember, I entered at 866, right, around 10 o'clock or so, or before 10:30. I held that trade, pretty much entire day, and at the closing at around 4:15 when I came, and I closed it at that time. So I want to see the price staying below all of this for sellers, above for buyers. We can take a look. We can look for longs of the open. Same story as ES. Okay, Russell 70 level. We discussed that 70. It was holding the gap fill. Remember around 10 o'clock we discussed that Russell is holding 1770 gap fill, and Dow was making new high for the day, right? So they were pushing higher. So they were favoring buyers. ES was also favoring buyers. It was only NQ was not favoring buyers at that point. It was favoring buyers, but it was not moving higher, right? So Russell 1770, when you see a chop there, price holding this area, it was a long, gap fill long, But you can't hold it for longer. But that was a good trade there if you are trading Russell. Dow, no trading, right? Crude above 110.75, stick with buyers, and below sellers, right? Dream number 1235, which held it today, right? And 11,975. So now here, right? So right of the open, so we were observing in the open, right? We were watching opening price action, we were talking, right? And then we watched these areas, back and forth, all these things, right? And I walk you through why price is doing this, and then this happened, right? And then this happened, right? And then this, right? We discuss all this price action. So when price, so the idea was patience, right? We have to look for, we have to see, we have to wait for a price to give us a trade instead of we go ahead and jump in and assume something, right? So we are watching and discussing all this thing in Discord. So when ES was ready, buyers were there. So first attempt here also they held it, right? That was a sign And if you, the way we discuss it, that of the morning NQ, if you look at it, it was right here and a couple of candles down, right? And then you can see this up thrust straight up, right? So it's like, okay, so buyers are active now, right? Because the way it went down, immediately pop back up, right, from this 835 level. So we discussed that, hey, buyers are in control, right? And then price went higher all the way up to here, right? And then it came down yesterday's high. Obviously some sellers were there, that we already discussed, right? Some algos will be there. So it came down, right? And then it sliced through all these things, right? At that point, looks like we also discussed that sellers may be active, but observe these levels, right? ES has to hold below, not I think NQ has to hold below now 835 to these levels, right? 835 to 866 area, this area. So which is this. So we discuss all these things, right? And then you want to see them holding it below this. The moment you see this, right, going up, that's where you know now that buyers are there, right? Because I was discussing about all the buyers in Discord since morning, right? I didn't talk about any shorts, right? So, and here I was supposed to go long here, right? But because it's a bold support and it's a Globex low also, right? Above buyers are there. Problem was NQ went down below this, so that's why we couldn't get long on this, because if NQ falls further down, this guy may go down further, you know. So the stop placement was the issue here on a first test, right? So because technically it can come down to this round number 3900 and then bounce, so the stop was the issue here. So I was looking for price to come down a little bit further, and if NQ is still holding this area, then it makes sense to go long, you know, because ideally you want both of them to be in sync. Remember, here they were out of sync, here now they came into sync, you know. ES little bit poke below, you know, NQ little bit poke below, right? And then all you want to see it what? It holding below here. The moment you see this candle going up, it is basically confirming the idea of longs being in. And the way ES bounced also, right? See, ES has opportunity here. It couldn't even close below Globex low in 5-minute time frame. See that? So the moment you see this pop up and price going higher, you're ready to go long, right? So in here I also discussed, we talked about the failed breakdown and trap buyers and risk reward perspective. It makes sense to go long here because of the lower risk, right? So, and I also said 3907, that's the long that I took, you know, or I said explore the idea of 3907 long, right? So I did not take this long though, by the way. I took the long here, you know, later on at 29 to get some points out of it, you know. But NQ I took this long definitely here, you know, because ES was already moved up, you know, and I didn't want to take a chance in ES because I was looking at NQ was way down. So if NQ moves higher, I had more points probability to capture fast than ES, you know, at that point. So but here when NQ went higher at 866, that's where I put the longs there, right? And then it went against me, you know. But the way ES bounced it, the way NQ bounced back up above this area, you know, that is definitely telling you that buyers are there. Then I looked at Russell, which was holding the gap fill. Dow was going higher and higher, right? And the AD was holding around zero line. Here also around zero line, right? So that combining all these things, it makes sense to go long here, you know. But yes, it was choppy price action. It may go down, you know, but that's a risk we have to take, because now this was a good opportunity, you know, in both of them. So then it again went down, I held it, and then finally it went here, right? That's where I stopped trading, but with my stop below here, you know. And then I took my chances. My target was this, you know. So at the closing time at 4:30 or 4 o'clock when I came in here, price was here, so I built up, you know, that's all I did. And then ES I bailed out even while I was going at 10:30 right here, you know, because I saw some divergence here, right? We talked about this divergence also, right, in Discord, that hey, this divergence does not make sense to short there, you know, because of the way momentum was holding higher, right? AD was holding above zero, all these things. The short does not make sense here, even though it is good setup, but it does not make sense. You rather look for longs, right? So So here, and I wanted to, and also I said if as long as it is holding about 25, buyers are there, right? So ES couldn't go below 25, right? NQ even held here also 866, right? Yeah, it broke below it, right? But then it held it, immediately popped back up. So at this point we discuss also it is building a step up pattern, right? So most likely case is breakout, pull back, go continuation, right? So based on that, this was the trade later on. So this trade was a good trade, right? I was not here, but at least if you are observing it based on what I have discussed in Discord, this was a good trade because above 60 as per pre-market here 61, 42 buyers are there, right? So the moment price went higher and then pulled back, this was the time to go long, right? In both of them, right, together. And then you can target 135, yes, you can target 4,000, right? But at the time also, if you look at it very carefully in Discord, I have also said at 11 o'clock, right, 11:10, explaining these things, right, suggesting that buyers are there, and also I said officially choppy, right? So choppy means I also explained choppy means what choppy means, right? It's a fading idea. So when you know it's choppy, you can fade after that, right? So after 11:10, you know, you can fade also, right, to the short side if you want to, knowing that buyers are in control, but they're not gonna go further, right? So here you can go long, right, after 11 here, right? And then when price went higher, right, and you know it's a choppy market, and by that time you also know at every resistance line NQ is reacting. See here, everywhere, right? So obviously after this the next line is the next rim number. Rim numbers are powerful also, right? And also when it hit this blue lines, right, here you can see it. So here it cleared out these things, right, and then it was moving higher here. AD, if you look at this, AD was moving higher with this breakout, so all was good, right? Then pullback happened, then there was a new high here, right, but there is no new high here. See, it was still holding, right? So it's a warning sign here. So either you can choose to take a profit here, or you can wait to see whether whether it pulls back here at dream number and go higher, right? So but here in this case you can see it sliced through the dream number, right, and then again it tried to go higher above dream number, right, but it couldn't, right? So here you can bail out then, right here, you know. ES also you can do the same thing. You can wait for 4,000, but if price goes down, right, here it couldn't even hold this, right? There was a divergence here also, right, and then it popped back up, right, to the same area, failed, you can bail out here, that trade, you know. And then you know, then if price let's say goes higher, then you don't do anything, right, because there is no fading at that point, because price is continuously going higher. The moment price came down here second time, right, and then pop back up, then come down here, see this thing is telling you that now officially chop is going to come right there after this point onward. So you can start fading even. So that means when price came to first hour high, you can even go long in ES. You can bail out right here, no? And then you can wait. The moment price went higher here, right, you can fade even, because now you know. So fading here, you know, because AD was still here. See that? And momentum, remember here I said I do not want to see another momentum to the downside. Here you can see couple of downside momentum. So this will telling you that both sides are active now, you know. So somebody is going to short here, especially if NQ also comes to the resistance, right? So if you want to fade, you can fade, but you need something else, you know, like MBOX or something else, you know, to help you out, you know, or RSI or whatever, you know, some kind of other stuff if you cannot read the price to fade. No, otherwise don't trade, because you know it's choppy now, right? So those are the trades for today, you know. And so I'm not going to do unbox video today, I'm running out of time, but I'll try to do it tomorrow. Okay, that be all.